Welcome to Module number 3, in which we explore the online course materials through an examination of Caedmon's hymn. Why Caedmon's hymn, you ask? I'm sure that most of you think of Beowulf as the place where most surveys of English literature begins, but that would just be wrong for one simple reason. Caedmon's hymn was the first poem ever composed in the English language. As such, it seems to me to be the perfect place to start. We find Caedmon's hymn in an early English history book written by a monk named Bede. Most people refer to him as the Venerable Bede, venerable meaning that he is worthy of admiration and veneration. Bede lived in a monastery named Jarrow, and it's right up here, on the northeast coast of England. He wrote one of the most important history books covering the early years of England, and it was called The Ecclesiastical History of the English People. Probably the only word you don't or might not be familiar with in the title is ecclesiastical, and that means of or pertaining to the church. You see, Bede wanted to write a book tracing the Catholic Church's conversion of the English people from paganism to Christianity. The book was finished around the year 731, roughly 2 years before he died. Since the Romans left England in 410, taking their historians with them, Bede's history is about all we have covering the 5th, 6th, and 7th centuries in England. That's why his book is so incredibly important. Bede wrote his book in Latin. That's not to say that the language that he spoke all the time was Latin, though. The English language had been in England since around the year 450, so Bede most certainly spoke it. However, the English language then was only an oral language. There was no written alphabet until around the time that Bede finished his book, so he had no choice but to write in Latin. That's important to keep in mind as we go on to study the story of Caedmon and his hymn, which appears in Book 4, Chapter 24 of Bede's history. Once you have finished viewing this screencast, go on to the next section of this module. Read Bede's account of Caedmon, taking notes as you go along. Once you've read that, watch this screencast lecture, and then take quiz number 3 in tests and quizzes section of our Class ReggieNet page. You should be aware that these quizzes will only be available until 11:59 p.m. on Thursday, so don't miss your window of opportunity. So that should be enough to get you started. If you have any questions, please email me at calyn.ilstu.edu, or I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks, and enjoy Caedmon's hymn.